I've just watched a YouTube video titled the exact same as this one, Build Big Arms Without Heavy Weights. And I'm not going to lie to you, that could not be further from the truth. And that is exactly what had me stuck years ago when I was trying to grow my arms. Bit of context, I'm 6'6". My arms are like bloody Mr. Tickle. They are so long. I have had to put a lot of work in to grow my arms, and this is just what held me back. I used to think that I had to lift quote unquote heavy, or I had to just go in and get a pump and get the fattest pump ever, trying to get a load of blood flow into my arms. And that just had me stuck. I wasn't growing after years of training them, and I mean years, like 2-3 years, they basically looked the same. And that mindset just stops me from growing. So what you really need to understand is that your muscle doesn't care about the number on the dumbbell, and it also doesn't really care about how much blood flow you're getting. It cares about tension and progression. So let me give you a bit of an outline into how a muscle actually grows. But before I get onto that, I will actually link down below a free resource that's like a Arms Accelerator. It's basically a program and some advice that we've put together so that you can grow your arms. And it's worked for me, it's worked for Leo, so I'm pretty sure it's going to work for you as well. So you can just scroll down below and grab that for free if you do want it. But how does a muscle actually grow? Well, you see, back in the day, there'd be three main drivers: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage. To be honest, my experience and the research that's coming out now, I would advise canning off the muscle damage and the metabolic stress. Metabolic stress is kind of that pain, the pump that you feel in your muscle. In my eyes, I don't think you should be focusing on that. I think it might have a small role to play, but that role is indeed small. So that kind of leaves mechanical tension. That is what you want to drive towards. So the key message is like light weights can work, but only if you train them close to failure, and only if you progress them over time so that you're increasing that mechanical tension, which is the stretching force that you put under your muscle when you are going into train. You've got to have that, and that is what's going to make you grow. So then what does heavy really mean in the context of that? Well, first of all, it's got to be in context with the rep range that you're using. You could grow your arms anywhere from probably 6 upwards of 20-25 reps. So heavy in that instance is all relative to how many reps you're going to be doing. If you are doing a 6-rep set, that's going to have to be pretty heavy, pretty close to your kind of 1-rep max bicep curl if you even had one. Whereas if you're doing 20-25 reps, it could be a much lighter weight, but you need to be focusing on getting close to failure to actually stimulate that muscle to grow. So the other part of that is heavy is not relative to me or relative to you together. It's completely relative to you as an individual. So right now you might be curling 10 kilos, but your whole goal should be to try to get that in 6 months time up to 15 kilos, maybe 17.5 kilos. And I guarantee you, if you do that, your arms will grow. My arms started growing the most when I had the goal in my head of getting up to a 25 kilo incline dumbbell curl. Granted, I'm not quite there yet. I'm doing about 22s right now for 6 or 7 reps, but I can assure you that mindset made my arms blow up so much faster than they would do before. So the goal is to get stronger, more load, more reps with the same control and the same range of motion and the same accuracy, which you should put in place right at the start of your arm training. So make sure you're using a full range of motion. Make sure you're controlling the eccentric and controlling each of the end ranges. So stretch and contract, full range of motion. And then make sure that you are being accurate. So are you keeping that tension on the bicep, or are you bringing in the shoulder and bringing in loads of momentum? We don't want that. We just want the bicep to be working so we can drive up that mechanical tension that I'm talking about. So how do you actually apply this to kind of arm training in particular? I think there's some common mistakes, right? There's heavy ego lifting where you are doing curls, but it's not your bicep doing the work. If you're doing that, you've probably gone a little bit too heavy. The second one that I see a lot is not using a full range. It's very easy to cut the bottom end short and not go until your arm is at least almost fully straight. I personally just go fully straight to get a full stretch on the bicep. So make sure you are taking a full range of motion, and make sure you're not ego lifting and just chucking that weight up and down. Fixing that is going to involve slowing it down slightly so you reduce that momentum. It's going to involve taking that full range and actually checking in the mirror that you're getting that full range, and then from an intensity perspective, first of all, make sure you're at least 1 to 2 reps away from failure. To be honest, with your arm training, you can almost definitely get away with just pushing all the way to failure. It's such a low kind of fatiguing movement. You're not going to be in bed cramping, not being able to train the next day because you've pushed a set of bicep curls to failure. So let's get pushing it hard. And then, just like you would your chest training, your leg training, your back training, aim to progress it. And the only way you can do that properly is really tracking it. So especially in the first few years of your training where you're looking to learn to train hard, track every single set. You need to know what you did last week on set 1, set 2, set 3 of your incline dumbbell curl or cable curl or whatever curl you're going for, and progress it from there. Without that information, you're probably just guessing, and guessing just leads to inaccuracy of progression. Without that, your arms aren't going to grow. So like, just bite the bullet and start writing down what you're actually lifting. And then make sure on a week-to-week basis that is just going up over time. If it's not going up, you need to change something. Maybe you need to eat a bit more food. Maybe you need a slight change of the exercise if you've been doing it for a long time. Maybe you need a little bit less or a little bit more volume. All of these things come from the tracking, so you need to know that. It's an absolute key. But then the caveat from that is progression doesn't mean just reckless loading. You need to make sure all of those things are kept the same, like I mentioned, the range of motion, the control, the accuracy. Keep them as the absolute foundation, and then look to progress from that, keeping all them the same. I will promise you here, if you do that, your arms will grow significantly faster than if you didn't before. Of course, with all this, you need a decent program. So again, if you do want to grab that arms accelerator, the link is below. Go grab it, run it up, and your arms will pretty much grow if you follow all this stuff as well. So, bit of a takeaway. You can build very big arms without chasing huge weights. But those weights are going to be big for you. It's all relative. So you need to chase that load and keep everything else the same. Keep your form the same. The effort that you put in there will build the muscle, and the progression that you take week by week will keep that new muscle adding on, stacking and stacking that new muscle week in, week out. And I think if you do that, you're going to grow. Follow those tips. You can apply them all to be honest, every other muscle. It's all the same. Just get stronger, man. That's all you need to do. And yeah, if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know. But hopefully this helps, and hopefully gives you a bit of an honest take on what's really needed to just get growing. Give this video a like if you did indeed like it. And of course, there'll be more videos like this on the channel, so click a subscribe. It's probably there, or there may be a different video. Anyway, click one of them if you fancy.